Let's see, I lost $500,000 on a failed construction company.
First time he's ever said that on the air.
Listen, it's the truth. A lot of guys, you take a loss, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna stick it to somebody else. You know what? I sucked it up. I had attorneys that were fighting it. Wound up getting a judgment. The guy paid me $200,000 over the course of 3 years or something. It was like I lost money. Right. You know, it was like I didn't even get my money back out of it. You know what? I learned something.
No, you were always
17, like technically. Like my first day on 47th Street, I was 17.
That first day you handed him a watch and said, go make $100 on this. He was 17.
I was 8.
What?
I was 8. Remember I was 8. He gave me those little
watches.
the little rubber watches he gave me when I was really
What'd you say to him?
Yeah, they were just like rubber watches, not rubbers.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. You're not giving him rubbers.
I don't want anybody to have any misconceptions about this relationship that we have. We really don't want anybody.
It's a wholesome podcast. We keep it PG on this podcast.
We're gonna keep it PG. We don't want to get you canceled. But then again,
it'd be hard to cancel us, man. At this point,
we're known for getting people in trouble.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I wanted to ask you. Your name Vookum.
Yeah.
Why it's I didn't ask it why it's named Vookum.
Why it's Vookum?
What is that? What is that? Is that a name? Did you make it up?
I just made that. I made up.
Why?
I just needed a name for my business.
And so you said Vookum.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
No, quite literally, just out of nowhere.
You don't have any. I was hoping for like something cool to tell
I'll
the
elaborate
audience.
a little bit. Yeah. So I was probably 19 when I had to do this. And I was in my office and I was drinking.
Okay.
And doing other things. Not Coke,
right.
Obviously.
Fair enough.
I really don't do that. And then, I started Googling random words. It came to me.
I assumed it was your last name for the longest time.
My last name's nowhere near it.
And it has nothing to do with the Buckleys over here.
No.
So you just picked Vookum, Buckley's together, and now Buckley's enterprise is called
Tuscany Rose.
Mine has been Tuscany Rose for a long time.
Well, we're going to get into that, right? So obviously, this whole dynamic is pretty incredible. You guys have done some great stuff online. Mr. Buckley, John Buckley over here, the OG. I've seen you all over the place. You clearly know what you're talking about, right? You've been in this industry for a while, 30 plus years. Let's take them back. First day of Tuscany Rose, what's that look like for us?
First day of Tuscany Rose? Wow, that's a good one. I was living in Brooklyn and I needed, the name or just how it started selling watches?
Yeah, I want to hear your entire journey.
Walked out of my house on recycle day and there were a bunch of like books and stuff in a receptacle. And right on the top were these auction catalogs with watches. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And I picked them up and I took them with me to work and eBay was just starting out. I put them on eBay, I made money and that was it. The light bulb went off and I just went crazy getting catalogs, any kind of periodicals, any kind of books. This was before like Google was a thing. Like people weren't so internet savvy that they could look stuff up on the internet. People still looked at books.
Right.
And we sold tons of them.
And what were you doing prior?
I was a caseworker.
Really? Mm-hmm. How long did it take you from transitioning out of casework? Did you like immediately know I'm out and I'm going to do this?
We had moved to New Jersey. I was the boss of a program. I was working for the YMCA and he was 9 months old. No, not even 6 months old. Had a new wife, new baby, new mortgage. And the drive was really bad. I was working in the ghetto, not the ghetto. Well, it's not the ghetto now, but back then it was Bedford-Stuyvesant. And I just said, you know what? Couldn't get a job in New Jersey because I didn't have a degree. In New York, you could run a program without a degree. In Jersey, you need a degree to like wash dishes in a program the way it is out here. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to try this thing. And that's what I did. I just started going to shows and I learned as I went and I liked it. And I did it. And here I am.
So how old were you at this time?
When I moved to New Jersey, I was 36.
So you moved to New Jersey, but you're now working back in the city.
I started working back in the city in 2008. right? 2008, I started at 37 West.
2006 maybe, 2007.
Yeah,
Like
2007. Yeah, full-time
Full-time,
was,
2009,
I was always
yeah.
back and forth to the city on 47th Street. I had connections there and I used to sell catalogs. I used to buy parts and buy and sell all kinds of stuff. But in 2008, I said, you know what, I'm going to go set up. He was in school. So there was really, I was a stay-at-home, we were stay-at-home parents. We worked out of the house and he was in school and I was like, I had nothing to do. I was like going nuts. And I said, you know what, let me just go and set up in the city. And I set up with Danny and Michael at Renaissance. And we did like crazy, like just crazy business. I mean, we just went haywire. And I was on 47th Street from then until 2020. When COVID hit, our lease ended the month COVID hit. And we were like, okay, let's not get another lease right now.
Right.
And then Mr. McCorsky came over to me and said, let's start something. Let's do something. He finished his college tenure after 13 days.
I was gonna say, he didn't.
And I said, okay. What the hell? And Buckley was doing something else. You were working, I was doing podcasting,
like, videography, film work, photography, like
Yeah.
measurable.
Yeah. So we said, you know what? Let's join forces. We have to stay inside anyway. Really not much to do. And it was good because there was, you know, it was a canned audience. We just did a lot of business and it was great.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hope you're enjoying this episode of the Johnny Drinks podcast. Quick reminder, Johnny Drinks crew necks, still on sale, limited inventory. So if you want to grab one, hit that link in the description. But for now, keep enjoying the rest of this episode. All right, so I want to back it up for a little bit. You said that you started this as like, hey, I saw this idea of eBay that may or may not work. It started to work for you. How long did you stay on eBay? And then how long did it take for you then to go to 47th Street?
I was on eBay till about 2004. I'm still on eBay under the same account.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
That's awesome.
It's nuts. It's Tuscany Rose. That's my account. And it started, I registered it in 99. I was on there when it first started. You didn't have to, they were so loose back in the day.
Right.
They had a million different like payment options. It was PayPal, YouPay, Bid Pay, Ubid, all kinds of stuff that you could get paid. And when I stopped when I transitioned out of eBay was probably 2004. And I started doing a lot more of like online stuff. The social media world consisted of forums, which were like big chat groups.
Yep.
And I was on the forums from the late 90s and I made a name for myself. And we used to sell crazy amounts of stuff on those forums. And that's where people got to know me worldwide because it was a worldwide network of people on those forums. Everywhere in the world was represented there.
Right.
And it was, you know, I still stay in touch with a lot of those people today.
Now, it wasn't just watches at this point.
I'm a parts guy. I specialize in parts. That's what I do. I mean, I know my watches. I mean, I have to know watches in order to do parts, but I specialize, my function is investment grade vintage parts and watches. That's what I deal in.
Like anything?
No, wristwatches.
Watches, okay.
Yeah.
Why did
Primarily Rolex.
Okay. What inspired you to get into watches versus anything else?
I can't sing or dance.
Correct.
So, I mean, there's nothing, I
Fair
can't,
enough.
what am I going to do out here?
Like you didn't go on eBay and say, oh, they're selling this. I want to try to get into that space.
You know, I did autographs like in the late 90s through like maybe 2001, 2002. And if anybody knows the autograph business, there was this big scandal right around 2001 with fake DNA certs and stuff like that. And I sold all of my stuff to one guy. I just got out of it and I said, you know what? I'm going to do watches. I found like boxes of autographs that I still have
Found?
in my basement. I'm like a hoarder. I have issues, like really bad issues. That's like the next show that we're going to do. It's like Buckley Hoarding Edition. But I found all of these autographs and I was buying and selling them. And the problem with an autograph is if you did not see the guy sign it, you don't know whether they signed it or not. And I don't care what the cert says. I don't care whether I'm not going to mention names. I don't want to put anybody on the spot because there are very reputable firms that are documented. But if you don't have that kind of documentation, Steiner, Upper Deck, that kind of stuff, you don't know whether it was signed or not. Right. I see guys buying and selling baseballs, you know, you don't know. You just don't. And I'm really good, like looking at stuff. I'm good with details, and I don't get involved in it anymore.
Right, because I guess how do you decipher an autograph? Like
You don't.
obviously somebody signed this thing, but even me, if I sign something 1,000 times, they're all going to be different.
There are certain characteristics that you look for when you're looking at a documented signature. Like you will have a documented signature, and then you will look at the signature that you have, and there are little tells, like there are little inflection, little like peaks in your N, or your L is tilted just a bit after the first. If it's not the first letter, it's tilted. If it's a million different, like the criteria is very broad. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a very, very vague science. It's just not, exact and precise.
Right.
Watches and parts are exact and precise. It's like, well, there are counterfeits. There's counterfeit stuff that we always contend with, but I mean, for the most part, if you know what you're doing, you can spot that stuff a mile away. It's not like an autograph. Well, I know there are guys that can do that with autographs. I never got that far.
Got it. So you're obviously his mentor in this space, the OG of watch trading on TikTok. Who was your mentor?
It's tough. I have a couple of guys that when I started out that I went to for advice, but it was, for the most part, I had to do it on my own because the internet was just starting and there was all of this information. And I never worked a computer until 1997. And I took a job, and one of the requirements was being an instructor for, teaching, like supervising a computer instructor as he is supervising this class, teaching them like during welfare to work programs back in the 90s. And I had to teach myself the computer. And I remember the first thing I learned was cutting and pasting. And it was like, wow, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it was hard, but I did it because I'm neurotic and obsessive compulsive, and it works for that kind of stuff. And I just did it. And I learned how to navigate the internet and just went forward from there. I've always been on top of any kind of new social media platform that pops up. I remember when I was never on MySpace. I was saying this the other night. I didn't have a MySpace page, but I had Facebook. The minute one comes out, I jump on it to get my screen name. And I had TikTok for years.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And I never used it until like a year and a half ago.
Well, I assume that these two young studs brought you on, but you seem to be on top of your shit.
You know what? They have a very, very different approach to it than I do. For them, it's social media. Right. They're on it constantly. I'm on it constantly for another reason. I'm on it for business. I have friends, obviously, but I communicate, do all of my business online. I did all of my business online for years, and it was very natural to just work with them.
So Tyler, was he the inspiration for you to start posting?
No.
Okay. He didn't want to give you that one.
He was the inspiration for the business.
How so?
Well,
Of you watching
business.
it. Yeah, of course. So, but he didn't get you onto TikTok. You got him.
Nah, I started posting on TikTok January 1st of 2022.
Yep.
And then I believe he started posting on TikTok maybe around what? September, right?
Yeah.
So about, what is that, 9 months after.
Did you guys push him to start posting?
Well, no, I was actually filming him and posting him on my account, like along with the stuff that I was posting. So what we would do is he played softball. I think he's doing a pause right now.
I'm playing again.
He is playing again.
Oh, okay.
Why'd you stop?
Politics. League politics.
Because I'm a real prima donna.
Fair enough. Listen, you can out somebody right now.
No,
you want to say names?
No,
you
we're
can
not
do it.
going to out anybody right now. I made peace with
Either
everybody.
way, we had this thing where he would throw a watch on his wrist and then play with it.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and then it was
We
called
try to mess it up.
watch.
Yeah.
What was it? Watch
durability
Watch
test.
durability
Yes.
test.
Oh.
So I'd be like, okay, Buck, what do you rate? Like beforehand, what do you rate the watch? Like, how's it running? We would check how it was running beforehand on a timeograph, which is a machine that like gives you all the specs of the watch and how it's running.
I still don't know what it means when you see this.
And then he'd go in there, he'd fuck it up. He'd hit balls, catch. He was a
Like
catcher
this.
too, so
Yeah.
shit was flying at him.
Constant impact.
Yeah. So then afterwards, we'd go, all right, Buck, like, how did it hold up? He put it on the timeograph. Shit was all fucked up.
Most of the time it was
Most
okay.
of the time
though.
it was good.
Most of the time it was okay.
Sometimes it started off at -1 or -2. It'd be
Your
like
hands would be
-300.
swinging around doing the wrong thing. Yeah.
Really? Well, now I gotta
was
ask the
fun.
question: what's the most durable watch out there?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I think it was a Tudor.
I think the
No, I think it
Tudors-
was the Tudor.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, one of the tutors that he did was really good.
They held up.
But just
Well,
to add
most of
on,
them did.
just to add on what you were saying about the posting and stuff. So me and him were doing the TikToks and we were getting 10, 20, 30,000 followers. And my great idea was like, what if we could replicate this with another account? So then me and him were in the basement one day going through just something that came in a date bracelet or a date. One
Two
was
day
fake,
dates
one was
came
real.
in, one was no good.
And I was like, Dad, what if we just film the video like comparing the difference between this real and fake date? Overnight, 200,000 views.
Really?
Yeah, just like that.
And this was 2022. You said.
September 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, September.
This was like when
first
you could
video.
post anything on TikTok and shit
Anything
was
would
going
go.
viral.
Exactly.
You guys caught it like the perfect
Yeah.
time. But you have to also enjoy what you're doing. Like you guys gave a glimpse into almost like how Pawn Stars did, a world that many people don't know but are so intrigued about. Like I love the fact that you're not just in the store, you're walking me literally through 47th Street. Like that stuff is so cool. Now, did you expect like the first day on 47th, did you expect it to be the way it actually is?
I was familiar with the game. I had done trade shows for years prior to going to 47th Street. What we did on 47th Street, we had the first pure vintage window on 47th Street. And it was a big deal. We had people coming in from all over the place to come and look at stuff. And I mean, we were there until from 2000. Well, they were there for years, but then we moved to a different location. Then we moved to another location. Then we moved back to 47th Street is like that. When your lease is up, you just move to another location.
I was going to ask you that. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's easy just to go from
Yeah.
one store to another. Why are you moving? What's the
A lot of times, we moved out of the window over there because it was really expensive. We took a smaller place because it was 2010. The economy was going crazy. We were like, let's cut expenses. So we went to 66 West and we had a really small little booth. And then we set up at this building 10 West 47th Street, which we had a big window there. We went over there, we did a big build out, and then they sold the building. 6 months later, we had to go back to the other place and we took it was crazy. Remember that?
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
That was
We
like
did the build out.
2013,
It was 2013,
Yeah, I
and we
remember
went
that.
back to
was
66 West in 2014, 2015.
Got it.
And we were there until COVID. Our lease, we had a 5-year lease. We started in 2015. It ended in 2020, in February 2020. And I remember we have film of us leaving the place,
Yeah.
because we always filmed. We didn't just start filming when TikTok and stuff. I was filming on 47th Street in 2008, 2009. I have
because?
videos for
Just off like a little camcorder.
yeah,
Like,
just little handheld.
little
We were-
handheld videos that he did.
They wanted us to do a reality show back then, and I was not as camera savvy. He was really young, and you remember,
Yeah.
it was a big deal, and it just couldn't get it to go.
Right.
It wasn't the right
could not-
time.
It wasn't the right timing. When he came into the picture, he says I'm a mentor. It's like you don't mentor somebody who's naturally driven. Okay, he is naturally wakes up in the morning, and I say it, he's just like me. Wakes up with a raging hard on to make money. Just wakes up in the morning, feet hit the floor, that's it.
Right.
So he and I click like that. We're just like this, and that's why we butt heads a lot of times. He's the opposite. He's laid back, just I'm like, James, you got to do this. Yeah, okay, we'll get it done. He gets done on his own time, no matter what. He was always like that. I would be like, James, you got to make the dean's list. Okay, yeah, Dad. Yeah, I'll buy you a pair of Yeezys. We'll go to Flight Club, no problem. Yeah, sure, Dad. Dean's list
Never
will come
did
and
it.
go. Never did
Never
it.
did it.
Just immovable.
Yeah.
And it took me time to kind of accept that that's his process. It's just his process. And never loved going to school, never opened a book. I would see the book bag, it was 900 pounds. He'd carry it into the house, never opened a book. Come back. I get calls from the teachers. Oh, yes, your son he's a great kid, but he really needs to do his work. James, you got to go stay after school. Yeah, okay, Dad. He'd be home on the
Go
bus.
to extra help in the morning. Yeah, right.
Never happened.
I'm going to go to extra help.
Fortunately, okay, the laws and the school system these days, they don't really care.
Yeah.
They're just going to graduate you one way or another. I knew that he was destined to do something. And when he fit in just perfectly into this space of taking care of all the creative stuff, and the two of them are very, very tight. And it just worked.
Right.
It just worked. I don't really have to do much. I just fight with them all day long.
Well, that is a lot.
It's a lot. It takes a lot out of
You
me.
probably don't realize how much that's impacting and helping the two of them. Like this dynamic is so interesting. You have, for those that don't know, father, son, best friend. Now this relationship is interesting. Like I've tried to think about my dad and some of my friends, and that they have their own individual relationships, like without me even, or like they would hang out without me there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah. They do. Yeah, they do that.
yeah.
I guess
100%.
I guess it has to be like that now because you guys are doing business. Was it like that even before? Like did you have a draw to him as a young guy growing up?
Our families were close.
Yeah.
Since they met, we've spent holidays. I have every Christmas we spend Christmas
Got
Eve
it.
together. I mean, the families are close. So he was always there when I was doing this work. James was always there. James hates the business. Okay, I'm going to say it. Can't stand it.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less. Okay, it's a money grab for him, which great. It's a money grab for me too.
Right.
Okay, but he was always intrigued by it because he saw the end result, and he saw a lot of the ups and downs. So he, it's a different dynamic. He's seen a lot of the good times over the last 5 years that he's been involved. He has never really seen, like, I say, the glory of the coming of the Lord, when this thing comes back and bites you really, really hard, and like everybody falls and you got to watch and see who's going to still be standing after the market crashes. It happens every 5-6 years. And you know what? He'll be okay. He's not gonna fall. We're all together on this. And we're going to do whatever it is that we have to do. We're in like a weird economic time. What do? We lease out this ridiculous place. Oh yeah. And nobody can understand why we're doing it.
Right.
We're doing it because we can, and because we're not afraid. We don't get up every day and be like, oh wow, we gotta be careful. It's like, fuck it, let's go. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
And damn everybody. Whoever's gonna say we can't do it, we're gonna show them.
Now, does James sort of keep you guys in check when it comes to that sort of stuff?
Yes.
Because you two are both very
Absolutely.
interesting.
100%.
How does that feel that your son is kind of keeping you in check?
I need somebody to do it. No, not many people can. I don't answer to anybody.
Right.
Okay. I answer to them. I answer I'll answer to my wife and I'll answer to them. It's like nobody really tells me. I'm usually the guy telling someone what to do. So it's a weird feeling, being guided on certain things. I'll be like, James, you got to do this over here with the video. No, I'm not doing that. I'm doing it this way. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. but you're mature enough to realize that he's probably right on certain things.
I'm
You're
really
also,
not mature. I'm a real.
Not at all.
I'm trying to give you some kudos.
Absolutely.
Really not.
I am so immature. I am
The biggest
such a-
differences we have are creative differences between like
Yeah.
us three, because you see it one way and me and you see it one way, or maybe me and you see it differently. And
Typically,
whatever.
like probably 80% of the time, me and him are eye to eye, and he's the one that has the problem with whatever it is. But sometimes it'll be weird where me and him are even like not seeing eye to eye, and me and him are on the same page.
It's weird.
But usually it's me and him versus
Yeah.
him.
So there's not normally one mediator between you three. It's kind of
No.
like 2-on-1 always at certain
Well,
points.
when me and him are
Depends.
fighting, he's the mediator.
depends,
When
yeah.
him and him are fighting, I'm the mediator. And me and him don't really get
me and
into
you
it.
don't really ever
Because
fight.
usually he'll be like, we should do it this way. I'll be like, maybe we should do it this way. And then we'll both explain it, and whichever way makes more sense, we would go with that way. So he doesn't really get involved.
Right, he doesn't need to
out
at that
of it.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you actually kind of answered my question. He explained to me when he was on the podcast the reasons why he was so attracted to not only what you did, but your lifestyle, the way you operated. And then you just explained why you were so attracted to like his persona and why he would then become a great, what do you want to call it, like a watch trader?
You know what? He had raw ability, and
Which
I
would be
spot
what?
it. I am really good at spotting value in anything, in items, people, real estate. I could spot it in a minute. I knew he was special. I knew that he had something that was gonna. Well, special is kind of subjective.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
We're a little special.
but he was special. But I knew that he would be able to. I would have to guide him. His background was not like mine. My background was straight up integrity. You had to do things the right way, even if it cost you money, even if you had to suck it up and take one. You've got to do the right thing because you're never going to be able to buy back your reputation, no matter what you do. And I had to show him that that's really important. It didn't take a long time. Every once in a while there'd be little things that I'd be like, Tyler, you can't do this. You can't do this stuff. You can't do it this way. You've got to do it this way. And he was a really good student. He would fight me every once in a while. Oh no, why can't I do this? And I'd be like, look, you can't. And he'd be like, okay. And he would just do it. And you know what? I think he understood that, if you want what I have, do what I do. It's like, here I am. This is how you do it. And, you may think you know what you're doing over here. You don't know what's going to come up and really stick it to you. You don't realize how quick it could happen. You don't realize how bad it could happen. And, he learned. James Buckley, he knows. He's I don't have to tell him certain things. Every once in a while, it's like we have a different kind of conflict. It's mostly creative. A lot of times it's more, I'm OCD and stressed all the time. He's like, no problem, I'll do it. He's like me, same way.
You guys are always stressed.
I'm always stressed.
Always stressed. Just
He's
chill.
like, savor the moment.
Relax.
I'm like, what fucking moment? I want the
Yeah.
moment over here. Let's go.
You're stressing over everything, this guy.
Let's get it
Never
on.
saw anything like
Let's
it
get
before.
it done.
Same.
I don't have patience for. I'm really impatient. I want it done yesterday, and I really had to pull myself back and understand that they work on a different schedule than I do. And it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
Drives me nuts.
Sounds pretty relatable. Well, okay, so let's stick to this space, right? What are some traits that you feel you have to be successful?
Honesty. Just honesty. You got to be honest with yourself and others. If you are not honest, you got to know your capabilities and limitations, and you got to do things with pride and quality. That's it.
You said that last time.
Those
That was good,
I
though.
spit
Word
that
for it.
stuff out
Jot that one down.
every day.
Timestamp that.
It's like capabilities and limitations, pride and quality. Honest with yourself and others. Admit you're wrong when you're wrong. I'm usually not wrong, but when I do, I admit it.
Right.
And they follow suit.
Okay.
They're there.
Yeah, and they're probably learning. They may not say they are, but they.
Oh no, they're learning.
Yeah, they know it.
Oh, I've learned a shit ton.
I've learned a lot.
I've learned
a lot.
Oh my god.
I think we've all
all
learned
learned.
in our respective.
Let me ask the
roles.
youngins here. What are lessons that he's taught you that the other young guys in your space, I won't even name their names, maybe aren't learning, that you're just picking up on?
Reputation, like he was just saying. Reputation is everything.
It's a big one.
Once you fuck up a reputation, you can't get it back.
Do you feel like the younger guys in the space are running that risk and they don't realize it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How so?
Just selling things, not disclosing certain information that they should be.
Do you think you would be more like that if it wasn't for him?
Not sorry to interrupt you. Not
No, you're
paying
good.
on time. Things of that nature.
Yeah. So he's been a pretty big influence in that sense for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's got to get, again, outside perspective, this does look extremely exciting, like fast paced. And you may not even mean to miss out on details like that, but you're so hyper focused on like the next deal that you just forget about it. And then you realize like, oh shit, that caught up to me. And now my reputation is kind of tarnished.
Like now it's almost ingrained into my brain as a system. Like make sure you're doing this, and that before, you move forward with anything.
Interesting. And you've been at this for, only 4 years, I would say, right?
Yeah, I would say I was half-assing it for about a year and a half to 2 years, and then I got serious.
How do you feel his progression is in 4 years of doing it?
He's exceeded my expectations. I wouldn't say it to his face, but
You
he
can say it to
has.
my face. Yeah, that's okay.
You're
I'd
not even
say it to
looking
you.
at me when you say it.
No, I'm not. You know what the most important thing is that I've learned, and as we were speaking earlier about you and your dad, it's like we learned by making mistakes, by not doing things the right way, by not having a proper operating agreement with your partners, by not doing things, not having the proper LLCs set up, not having, the proper bank accounts and the proper oversight and all of that stuff. So when we started this thing, I was like, look, number one expense that's going to go down is legal fees. We're going to pay the attorneys. We found the best attorneys. And one of the things that one of my mentors taught me many, many years ago, he said, John, no matter what you do, always pay for the best attorneys and best accountants first. Never start looking for them after you have a problem. If you pay for them first, you will always be able to undo anything that you've done. If you have to undo it with new people that are coming in, you're going to have problems. We have paperwork, operating agreements between the three of us.
Team
and
is
people
sick.
look at that and they're like, that's your son. That's your son's best friend. It's like, yeah, but this is a business. This is not a joke. This is serious money at stake, for everybody, for him, and for myself. And it's not only money, there's a lot of ego involved, and there's a lot of, there's just a lot of pride on the line.
Can you reflect on some legal mistakes you might have made in the past prior to them that you just didn't, it was an oversight for you at that point?
Oversight? Okay, let's see. I lost $500,000 on a failed construction company that I started, that I jumped in on.
I remember that.
Please
How about
get
that?
into detail on that one.
Yeah, I don't really need the details
Fair
on that.
enough.
It was
Next.
it was $500,000.
next.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's ever said that on the air.
I've had people listen. It's the
pulled it out of
truth.
them.
Okay. I mean, look. A lot of guys, you take a loss, you're going to go out there and you're going to stick to somebody else. You know what? I sucked it up. I remember I had $5,000 in my checking account, and, I had attorneys that were fighting it, wound up getting a judgment. The guy paid me, I think, $200,000 over the course of, I don't know, 3 years or something. It was like I lost money.
Right.
It was like I didn't even get my money back out of it. And you know what? I learned something. I learned the valuable lesson, the tuition that I never paid for in college, I learned. And that's what I say. He said it earlier. It's like you learn by your mistakes. And when you make a mistake in the watch game, I've made 6-figure mistakes. It's happened. It is what it is. You make a mistake, you trust somebody, you lose money. You make a mistake, you write somebody a check, you tell them don't cash it, they cash it. You're screwed. It
So wait,
happens.
let's not glaze over that one. Can you
that?
explain that what you just said? Why
one?
would that be a mistake when somebody cashed a check that you say not to cash it?
You do a deal with somebody that you've done business with before. And even though you're like, in the back of your mind, it's like, the guy is okay. But in the back of your mind, you're always like, okay, I'm going to hand you this check. Okay, the check is signed. Don't cash it until I check the watch out. Check the watch out. The watch isn't right. I look at my checking account. The money's gone. And then I'm chasing the guy around. I have a judgment against this guy for, I think, $30,000. The guy was paying me like $25 every 3 months for,
Come on.
I remember that.
God knows. Yeah.
I remember this.
You remember that?
Yeah,
that
I
was
remember- I remember
2012.
we met the guy in the parking lot.
Yeah, met the guy in the parking
remember
lot.
that
And
deal.
that was the Paladone.
Yes.
And I had to send it out to California.
I remember.
It was, I
That was a shit show.
said, I want to check it out first. Guy gave me the watch. I said, here's the check. Let me check it out. I shipped it out to California. Guy calls me back. My guy, he's like, John, it was somebody built this thing to fool somebody.
Wow.
And it was probably worth, I don't know, maybe 10 grand in parts, maybe,
And you paid how much for it?
30. Another time I bought a watch off a guy. I told the guy, I was like, listen, I'm shipping it to my guy. It was a consignment deal. The guy had a consigner who gave him a watch. He sold it to me. I gave him the money. I was like, don't send the guy the money until my guy gets the watch and okays it. My guy gets the watch. He's like, oh, John, this isn't right. Oh, I already sent the guy the money. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, 130.
Oh my God.
It cost me 75.
Oh,
I
thank God. That was
I-
a breeze. You got me nervous.
cost me 75. But it was the type of thing where I was like, are you serious? Oh no. We didn't make a lot of money on those shows. You didn't make a lot of money. I'm going to lose 100 grand, And like the guy that I sold it to, we knew each other. He was like, listen, let's just give me 75 back and I'll take care of the rest. And I was like, okay, fine. So that's what I did. But this is the kind of stuff that happens. And most people will take that and just sell it. The watch had a provenance. It was in auctions. I mean, it was something, there was something not right with it that I didn't catch in the beginning. And it happens, What do? Do you pass it on to the next guy? No, you don't. You suck it up and you move on like a man.
Right.
And that's what I teach them. It's like, look, you can never, like, if I would have told this guy to piss off, I would have looked like a jerk, first of all, because I've been doing this a long time. Second of all, everybody would have known about it.
Right.
Because the guy would have been like, oh, Buckley sold me this. People would love to get something from Buckley that's not right. They would just
Right.
love it.
They're waiting for it.
They're waiting on it. So I'm extra careful when it comes to things. Guys will call me up and it's like, I'll buy something off somebody or I'll sell them something. I'll be like, okay, if you want to sell it back to me, I'll take it back for this much money. I'll give you a buyback on it.
Got it.
And people don't understand that gives people a lot of confidence in you. I've got customers that I've had for 20 years, 25 years. Because of that, they'll sell me something back. I'll sell them something else. Yeah, I'm not making a lot of money on this stuff. I mean, most people would think it's not. I don't think it's a lot of money. Some people may think it's a lot of money.
Sure.
But it is what it is. You've got to have a good reputation. I make my money on parts. That's how I do it.
So you make more money on parts than overall
yeah.
whole what? Why? It's a volume game?
No, it's more, I find the one part that somebody needs. And I have this register in my head of guys that are all over the world, collectors that need this one part, this one little thing, this one thing. And when I spot it, I will buy it and they will pay whatever I say. I could say any number. They'll be like, okay.
Because they need that part.
Because they need that part
Got
to
it.
put together, a serious piece.
piece that's
7 figure,
90%,
7 figure piece.
There's
And-
7-figure pieces that you sell?
definitely. Sure. Absolutely.
Can you name one? Just for
Paul
fun.
Newman's. I mean, we just bought one. Well, it was a 6-figure piece. Yasha and I just bought a watch for, what did we pay? We paid $550 for it on a, we took a flyer on it. It's like, he got this watch and he was like, yeah, what do you want to do? I was like, all right. What did we pay? $550
I
for
think
that watch.
you split it.
It was
at like
$550, and we wound up. It took 2 months to sell because it was over Christmas.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, brother," it was a lot of money to lay out.
shit.
And,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, but we sold it. We sold it for $590, and we made ourselves a few bucks. It was like $19,000 each after expenses and carrying costs and insurance and this and that. And okay, fine. But if nobody bought it, I'd probably be wearing it right now.
Well, that was what that I didn't realize. Like when you explained to me, the margin is actually smaller than I thought it was. He was explaining, you make a couple $100 that's a win for that day.
Yeah.
And I thought like you guys be hunting for big fish here.
The bigger the price tag, the less money you make.
Really?
Yeah.
You're making more of a spread on like the smaller pieces.
I make more of a spread on parts. When I'm selling a watch, if I'm selling a $5,000 watch, if I'm making $300, I'm happy.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm selling a $10,000 watch, $500, I'm happy. 15,000 and so on and so forth.
Okay. So now that has to be the difference between your generation and our generation. I'll say our. Like the guys that are around our age, they got to be looking for these big wins, no? Just to kind of flex about it on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yes and no.
Do you notice more of a maturity in the space?
I think so.
Yeah. Do you think because they're learning from people like you guys,
I
or
don't think
just
a lot of them aren't learning from anybody. They're kind of just going out there and doing it on their own.
right?
A lot of the people that are on, the Facebook groups or the WhatsApp groups, or even some of the people on TikTok, they're kind of just out there trying to do it on their own, learning as they go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so here's a question, I guess, for both of you. If you were to start today and you didn't have Mr. Buckley and vice versa, how would you get started in this game?
Do I have the same knowledge, or I don't have any?
You're starting bare.
Like
You're me. You're
bare
starting bare
minimum?
bones. Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if I'd.
Probably stay far away.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be in this industry.
Stay far
Why is
away.
that?
I got the answer.
What is the answer?
Join the group.
That's not the answer.
There-
No,
listen,
no, wait
if
a minute.
you-
That is the
that's
answer.
a fair answer.
That's the answer.
Right.
You pay $20 and you are in a group with like-minded people who you can ask questions, and you can ask questions about authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
You could learn to buy and sell. I tell people, start with $100 and they're like, $100, I have $10,000. I'm like, take $9,999, give it to somebody, tell them don't give it to you. Take $100, go out and buy a watch and make profit off it.
Really?
Because it's the same process with that $100 watch than it would be with $10,000 or $100,000 watch. Same process.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to expose yourself to $100 at first and see what happens. Don't take a shot. Oh, I want to buy a Rolex. It's like, do you know anything about Rolex? No, not really.
Right.
But I saw pictures on the internet. I'm like, dude, what's the matter with you? Start small. And that's how a lot of people start. That you started small. You didn't go out there like
Starting
gangbusters.
4 or 5 grand.
Yeah, you
Well, you
started
started
very
8 years
small.
old with a rubber watch and made
Well, that too,
$10
yeah.
off it.
Did you ever make any money on that stuff?
Yeah, I made bread.
Well, tell the story. Tell the story
Did
of
I
how
get
you got him
Did I get
involved.
my cut?
He doesn't remember. He's 60 years old.
Tell me,
I
he
still have
remembers.
some.
All right, tell the story then.
Of the little rubber watches. Okay. I got the watches from Ed Ticelli.
Here he goes.
Okay, they were a box this big. There were 500 of them. I
What'd you
think
pay for each one? 20 cents?
No, I think $1.
Sick.
Something like
I got
that.
you 5 on each one.
Yeah, I know. Did I get the money
I was
from
like,
you?
where's his money?
Yeah, of course.
You sure?
Yeah,
See,
I brought
because
you
I'm
cash.
60. Wait, because I'm 60. I don't really remember that.
Yeah,
you know?
we're gonna run that back. So you gave him this box of how many watches?
I gave him this box and I was like, sell them. They were like in this like little tube, like cigar tubes. And
Yeah.
they were like, I found a few of them actually still.
way.
Yeah, I have
should
some.
wear one in the next
I'm going to
video.
bring one with you, but we got to
You
get
should.
batteries in it. And he went out there and he sold them.
Who are you selling these to at 8 years
I
old?
went to school. I was like, yo, you want to buy one of these? They're like, no. I'm like, buy one. And they were like, all right.
That's
They
hilarious.
bring $10, $8.
And you so I think
Yeah.
what's funny is like when you have a kid that young, I would assume you like could just instill things that you don't have to like second guess at this point. Like
Well,
he had a knack
ask yourself
for it.
this question. Why didn't my son sell them?
Yeah, why didn't you?
I don't remember. Why? Why
Because he didn't want to.
Oh, because I didn't want to. Okay, that's the easy answer. Yeah, I didn't want to.
Just weren't intrigued by that sort of
So
stuff.
who do I
wasn't.
get? The next best thing I get
The
from
next,
Korsky.
now, do you think? I mean, would you would you have enjoyed doing it with your son? Like, would you have let him get in the space with you?
He and I
We were in
have
this. I mean, we did it together.
we did a lot of stuff. We did sneakers together. Okay, so I mean, we were like ridiculously into it. Never made a dime, but we had the best
fun.
like show
Sneakers
like
are
from
fun.
It taught
here
me
to
how to
the
do
corner.
business, honestly. Like, it taught me how to negotiate with people and how to
Sure.
stay true to your word and,
Yeah.
you know,
See,
accept money
that's
for
what I had
product.
to-
And it was like a business lesson, honestly. It was good.
Right. Yeah.
He had to unlearn all of that sneakerhead type stuff.
'Cause it's
That's what-
different.
It's a different world. It's like you're dealing with a bunch of kids, and he always understood the way business was done. He was more on that tip. So that's what I had to kind of like. He had to unlearn that and learn how to do it the right way, and he did. You know, he did.
Did you sell
And-
sneakers at one point?
Oh, yeah.
I sold everything.
So, yeah.
And you learn like an immature way of, because I would assume too, like I remember
Yeah.
wrestling shoes were big. Kids would go to like literal tournaments and like bring it in their bag, but I'll give it for this much. And it's all sleazy. You know, you don't know the price.
Yeah. I mean, look, we don't want to have that kind of podcast, but I get it. You know, I totally get it. You know, that you've got to make that money. But if you're in it for the long haul,
Right.
okay, you've got to do things a certain way. And they did. You know, I mean, him especially. I was pleasantly surprised when he actually went along with the program and was just like, okay, I'm going to do it this way. And he did. You know, he kept his word, and that's important, you know?
Why, Tyler, when you said you wouldn't get into it at this point, why? Why wouldn't you?
Well, I probably wouldn't have known about it. I wouldn't have known that this was a thing unless he was around.
Right. He was the only
So I wouldn't have
influencer.
found out about a watch, watch market. People were making money reselling watches unless I had somebody around me that was already doing it to tell me about it.
Got you. So you're not saying it's
Well,
like
I mean,
a bad
besides
time.
TikTok now, if you're talking before TikTok and before, us three kind of like blew it up on the internet, no, I wouldn't have known that this was a thing.
Even though, like we were saying the last time, we said it's a very private space.
It's a very
not
private
something people really
space.
talk about.
Yeah, I mean, most of the comments are usually, "Oh, I didn't even know that this was a thing." Even
Before
now,
TikTok.
Do you think, and I'll ask you this because you'll know, do you think publicizing this space is good or bad?
I was just going to comment. It was
question.
always a very small group of people who did it at a very high level. Now you've got a whole load of people who just do it. And I'm a gatekeeper. I'm one of those people that will be like, it's like, look at this idiot. Look what they're doing. And he's like, he gets it. He's the same way at this point. He just said it before. He's like, he looks at people that are misrepresenting stuff online, not being, forthcoming about what stuff is original, what stuff is custom. And it's all over the place. And we wind up getting the calls after the fact. It's like, oh, I bought a watch off somebody and, somebody told me this isn't right. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not right.
Right.
Oh, well, I was like, well, you went by a TikTok video. That's where you gauge someone's reputation because they have followers. It's like, yeah, okay, I have followers, but you know what? I earned them. People follow me because they know that I'm legit.
Right.
These people follow them because they want to see a show, and that's great. Nothing against that, but always understand that if you're going to buy something and spend your good money, you better make sure that there's accountability and recourse.
Right.
If there's no recourse, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Because watches, some of these guys, they're not going to take that stuff back.
I guess it's hard. How do you learn in a 30-second video what you really need to know about this space?
You don't.
You don't.
Takes
You have
years.
somebody like
It takes
him.
years.
years.
He's at like such an early stage of this, and I can't sit him down and teach it to him. He grew up in the business. Okay. And it's like, he's still learning stuff, I'm not
even close.
I look at some of these folks online and they don't have the benefit of having someone like me guide them through this.
Sure.
And they're fast and loose. And it's just about, it's about making money. It's like, okay, well, you're going to be out of this in a few years, definitely, because that's all it is to you. To me, it's something that I put a lot of effort into over 27 years.
Right.
And, I take it very personally when people don't do the right thing. And I won't have any of that around me. It's like you're gonna toe the line
Right.
if you're gonna buy or sell with me. And customers are the same way. It's like I get these guys, they'll text me and I don't really take orders. I won't source watches for people, but sometimes somebody will text me in the morning and they'll be like, oh, could you get me this? And I'll have one in stock and I'll send them a picture. And they get 3 texts. That's it.
Right.
If you haven't sent me a wire by the 3rd text, or said to me, I'm taking it, or asked for wire information, good night, next. I don't even want to bother with you because my time is valuable.
Right.
I have to be able to, deal with these guys every day.
Sure. So speed is important in this space.
It's like if you're going to make a decision, guys call me all the time. Oh, I want this watch. I'm like, go and join the group. Oh, what do you mean? Join the group.
Right.
Look, join the group. I'm not sourcing watches. I don't have time to go out there and source watches. And I'm not going to do it because I don't need that headache. Because, send me a picture of this. Can I see this? And who was the previous owner? It's like, what is this? It's not a Carfax, okay? Right. It's like, I don't know. What the hell do I know? I know that it runs properly. The parts are all right. And this is the price. Do you want it or not? If you don't want it, great. I don't care. It's okay.
Was there a time you were sourcing though? Like when you didn't have as much leverage?
I spent years never just being the same way I am now. Mm-hmm. I have always been one of these guys that I'm not just going to deal with anybody. I'm going to have, again, with parts, it's a different animal. And that's not to say that I did not sell tens of thousands of watches over the last 27 years.
Right.
But I like the parts business. The parts business is easy. It's like, you want it? There it is. That's the price. Oh, okay, I'll take it. Yeah. I need it, I'll take it. A watch is like, back in the day, it was easy because you didn't have a million other guys trying to do each other for $50.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
it's like, listen, you want to buy it off that guy? Buy it off that guy. It's fine with me because I know how it goes. It's like, you're going to buy it off this guy and then you're going to wind up trying to sell it to me and I'm going to break your heart.
Yeah.
And I just wait there to do it.
Mm-hmm. So you're more into the parts. Tyler, you'd rather sell a watch?
Yeah, I'm still learning the parts, to be honest with you.
Is that why you're less interested in the parts?
Yes.
Was that your first parts video that you just posted and has a couple of thousand views?
I might have posted like 3 or 4 before that, but yeah, that was for the most part, probably in 6 months to a year. That was the first parts video I posted.
Really?
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
So does that entice
It takes
you
me a while
now?
to collect parts.
Why?
It's hard.
Because I don't have that eye. I don't do what he does.
Where are you finding parts?
Listen, buying and selling watches is not that difficult. Mm-hmm. There's the watch. You pay. You look. You kind of have a gauge for where you're going to sell it. If you've been doing this for longer than a week or two, you know where the price points are. Mm-hmm. You buy it for a little less. You sell it for a little more. Parts are different. They're very subjective.
There's no finesse.
There's no finesse to watches.
To watches.
There's no.
Right. Okay.
It's anybody could do it, and anybody does do it. To learn the parts game, which he's going to learn as time goes on, it takes years to really understand it. The reason that we learned it back in the day was because there was nobody else doing it. Now it's like a lot of other people fancy themselves, parts guys.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of them make mistakes. I mean, a lot of the ones that you see on TikTok make huge mistakes.
And you're probably watching like, holy shit.
A lot of times I'll give them a heads up.
Oh, you do?
I'll be like, hey, that's not right. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I bought it from so-and-so. I'm like, bro, it's not right. I'm telling you, take it down. Someone's going to blow you up. And
that's a very respectful thing for you to do, though.
It is. I try to be respectful, and we don't blow them up, but we're in like little chat groups. Some of us who've been doing this a little bit, and the picture will show up. It'll be like, look what this idiot is selling. Look at this idiot who doesn't know what he's selling. And these are some of the guys that, you watch every day.
Right.
They don't know what they're doing because they're doing it for a year or two, and a lot of them are not doing it with their own money. If you're not doing it with your own money, okay, you have no idea what this business is.
Whose money are they doing it with?
Oh, investors' money. They're doing it on consignment. If you're consigning stuff, that is the most dangerous game in the watch.
Can you explain what a consignment is?
Consignment is if you have I have this watch. I'm going to give this watch to you and you sell it.
Got it.
And then you give me my money and you take your profit.
Right. It's not my watch.
It's not your watch. So what winds up happening is you'll sell the watch. I don't know what this watch is all about. I just bought it off some Momo over here. Yeah. I give you the watch, you sell it, I get my money. Then the guy that you sold it to takes it to Rolex and it turns up stolen. You come back to me, I'm like, hey, I sold you the watch. I got to buy. And then you're holding the bag.
Wow.
I don't deal with guys who do consignment. I will not deal with them.
Too much risk.
It's a dirty business. Okay. It's not, it's just not a clean business. I'd rather do a clean business. And we always get invoices. I always tell people, get an invoice when you buy something. Oh, I just bought it off this guy. He was walking down the street, sold me a Rolex. I'm like, okay, well, did you get an invoice? Did you get his driver's license? Yeah. Are you allowed to buy a watch off somebody? Oh, well, I just bought it off him. I was like, okay, well, good luck with that. I don't want your watch.
Right.
Don't sell it to me. I don't want any part of that. It's a weird business, man. It's weird. It's like the used car business, only smaller and way more expensive.
They mentioned that I asked them kind of like what the gold standard of watch selling is a Rolex, right? Like, what are your favorite brands to work with?
I deal with, number one is Rolex. Number two is definitely Rolex. Like 3, it's a toss up, but it's got to be Rolex.
Really? Okay.
And 4 and 5, 4 is Rolex, and 5, I got to say, it's Rolex.
I was gonna guess Rolex.
Yeah, it's definitely
okay.
Rolex. I mean, I've dealt in all different brands.
Yeah.
I like Rolex because it's a benchmark. It's like Mercedes. It sells. It's
Right.
easy. And I know it better than anything else. It's not to say I don't know other stuff, but I'd rather deal in that. That's my wheelhouse.
If there's less known about these other brands, is there more margin on them?
Not really.
Not really. So it's not even worth the risk.
Margin is it's just one of those things where if you're going to hose somebody, it's going to come back to you. And you can't do that in this business. Guys do it, and everybody knows who they are. Whenever you see, I'm sourcing this watch for somebody. If I've got to go out and post something and say, hey, I need this watch, you don't think people are going to bang me out?
Right, of course.
And I'm not going to want to pass that along to the person who's buying it.
Right.
So it's like, I don't do that. That's why I don't source watches. Okay. If I have it in stock, I'll sell it sometimes.
So when you refer to that, you're selling parts. Normally it's a Rolex part.
Yeah.
Most
definitely.
What's some of the most valuable Rolex parts?
Dials, faces.
Okay, the face.
The faces are Rolex has a policy. They will not change a face. Their policy has kept me in business my whole career. And they're going to keep doing it. They're shutting down authorized dealers. They're shutting down parts accounts. The people that have parts are guys like me who've accumulated them over, decades. And I've got trays of parts. Like, I don't want to put a dollar value on it because some of them are near and dear to me.
Right.
But I like parts. I like junk. I like, anything, clocks, anything that has the branding on it. As you can see, I buy branded crap.
Right.
I just do.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I do. And other people don't get that. They don't understand. They'll have like counterfeit clocks. They have them all over the place, these counterfeit clocks. I want to walk in there with a shotgun and just like start going Elvis on somebody and just taking them off the wall.
You should.
I would love to. If I wouldn't get locked up and it would be like we get canceled.
We should do it for a video, actually. So if you do get locked up,
we'd get views galore for like first like 20 minutes and then we'd be pulled. Then it'd be done. Yeah. But I don't like that. I don't like anybody utilizing my intellectual property and my trademarks. I will never do that to somebody else's company.
So you're very truthful, right? You're very honest. I think that's what I've pulled from this. I'm gonna ask both of you. You answer first, then second. What does he do better than you see anybody do in this space?
I don't think you have enough time for them to list them all.
We have plenty of time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
He talks a lot.
You want to go first?
I'll go. Yeah,
Take your time, man.
What was the question again? Sorry.
What does he do better than you've seen any other watch trader do?
Oh, just
I
knowledge,
got it.
knowledge in the space.
Attention
just,
to detail.
Yeah, just being aware and knowing your
A
shit.
keen eye.
Yeah.
A keen eye.
More than
Keen
anybody.
eye.
More than anybody I ever met
Experience.
or encountered in my entire life. Just knows more than the next guy.
Do you see what's like the average age of a guy doing this right now?
It's a good question.
45.
Oh, so it is an older space still.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
It's very like generational. It's very generational.
Yeah,
space
usually
where
it's somebody's
great grandfather started
started
from
yeah.
overseas. They came here and whatever.
So this is actually not even that far back. Is one generation.
No. My father was not a watch guy. My father worked for UPS.
And so you've seen great grandfathers in this, and I'm assuming you get grandfathered in.
You do,
to
A
like,
lot of guys.
Literally.
Yeah. How have you seen the space change in the 30 years you've been in it?
It changes with the times.
Right.
The first I started in the mid 90s, and at that time, that's when the internet became a thing. And I rode that wave. I was one of the first guys that was on eBay, that was on the forums, that was taking pictures. I still have my original 3.5 floppy disk Mavica camera that I used to use. I have it in a box because I'm a neurotic hoarder, and it probably still works. And I started doing all of that stuff because the younger guys were going to catch me, and I wasn't going to let that happen.
Right.
And now with social media, with Facebook and then Instagram and now TikTok and then streaming and all of this other stuff, you got to stay on top of it. And even though I'm old, I have the benefit of being around young people, even when they were not really in the space, when they were doing other things. I would always, ask my son. I would always see him. Okay, Snapchat is the thing. I was like, okay, register.
Yeah, I made him his Instagram account in
Yeah,
like 2012.
you made me my Facebook account.
Facebook,
I think
Instagram,
too.
yeah. I
Yeah,
made
always.
those accounts for him when they first.
I think you probably made TikTok.
I did. I made all of them.
Yeah, you made them all.
Every single one.
And it's good because I was always open to staying in step, not ahead, but you had to stay in step. Like I'm sure your dad defers to you on a lot of stuff, but he's on it because he has to be at this point, because if he's not, he's going to be off. He's not going to be relevant.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you guys said keen eye, because a question I had, negotiation right now in sales seems everything is automated. You can buy a car online right now, right? What do you see, or what do you predict like technology and AI doing to your space?
AI is dangerous in our space. We have the benefit of all of this exposure, this social media like explosion that we had. And with that comes counterfeiters, people who use our photos, our videos, our IP, our likeness, our screen names, and they scam people. And
Happened this morning. Literally, I got a text.
You got another one?
What
Yeah,
happened?
$5,000. They thought it was you, actually. Remember I texted you when I was
That guy got burned.
shitting?
Wait, what happened?
Jesus.
Yeah. So this morning I got a text or a DM actually, and it was something along the lines of, I bought this Wimbledon, which is a Rolex Datejust. I bought this Wimbledon from John. I just wanted to make sure it was really him because I haven't heard back from the guy. I'm like, if you haven't heard back from him, it's definitely not John. He sends me a screenshot, and it's a Telegram group, and the name of the Telegram group is Vookum_verified. On the Telegram username is Vookum_verified, which is just not us. Which we also make, have made tons
Numerous
numerous announcements.
of announcements.
There we go.
No, I think even you just said it.
Numerous amounts of announcements.
Numerous announcements.
We told
Numerous,
everybody.
plenty of
So
announcements.
we
the
let
whole
people
fucking
know.
world.
We let them know.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
And even I dropped a couple TikTok videos, which I wasn't going to do at first, but then I finally did it. And then screenshots on the stories, and it's still happening. It happens way less now because we've made it so known. But so this guy got finessed for $5,000.
I stopped
But he
a
was
guy-
grateful that I answered him because he was about to send him a wire for the remaining $9,000.
Oh, he only sent like I was gonna say a down payment.
Yeah, that was $5,000 down payment via Zelle.
Oh my god.
We stopped a guy from I think $41,000.
Yeah.
Guy, see, you know what the problem is? People get so caught up in the deal. They'll see a picture,
they're
and they're not even
excited.
our pictures. It's like, oh wow, Buckley's selling the watch. Oh my god, I'm going to buy a watch off McCorsky.
They're never our pictures.
They're
either.
never our pictures, and they put price. We have stopped selling on Facebook and Instagram. We don't put prices on anything. We tell people we will never solicit you. You want to buy something? Contact his Instagram. Contact the group.
see that.
Yeah, that's
how it
the
works.
only way I'll sell something.
only
No, I don't
way.
even use Facebook. I only will use my Instagram
Right, your
page.
personal.
Only.
And
Your
do a
business
FaceTime.
My
Instagram.
business Instagram
At
page
Vookum.
at Vookum.
And do a FaceTime.
And
That's
but
important.
that's where AI is going to come in.
Oh, yeah,
and
that'll
really
fuck
start
people.
messing with things. I mean, we have the Secret
crazy.
Service. We have an agent working with us on this stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and not doing a damn thing. There's nothing they could do.
Right.
Facebook won't even take down. The fake
Facebook
groups.
won't. TikTok
Facebook is-
won't take them down. It's ridiculous.
If you look,
That's crazy.
here.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
verified?
going to show you. No,
They won't let me get verified.
me neither. And you know what? Fuck them.
My personal Instagram is verified.
I didn't say that. That's crazy.
Yeah, my personal Instagram is verified, and they won't let me verify the Vookum Instagram.
I wonder maybe because you're doing that. So same
know.
stuff with us because we're drink related or whatever.
Yeah.
And our stuff, like my dad is always hard pressed on why are we not verified and people are copying our shit. And for us, it's
Yeah.
what somebody went viral in one of our videos. I don't care.
Yeah,
but you guys
exactly.
are dealing with like
high
liability
end
of money.
goods.
This is
and
livelihood.
people
Very
are saying,
different than somebody else
some
going
guy,
viral,
Some
you know?
guy got finessed for 23,000 one time, and
Oh my
yeah,
God.
from Canada. The guy was crying on the phone. I felt so bad, but I was like, fuck.
But you know what the problem is? Okay, they have no problem contacting us after the fact.
Right,
It's
call
like,
you before.
What are you
The
doing?
wire information, the name on the account. First of all, mine's a business account. It's
Yeah.
Vookum LLC.
Right.
They're sending it to personal accounts with the name Melissa Jones.
in Pigs Knuckle, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
No, even the best today. The guy
crazy.
that got scammed for $5,000. He's like, Yeah, I know his name, and his picture was a picture of some random old guy, and his name was like like Dustin Jones or some shit.
You're like, you know his name, motherfucker.
And he
Why'd you
sends
send
it to him, and he goes, "Yeah, when I sent it, I didn't have a good feeling." So why the fuck did you send it?
That is insane. Now, do you
like
guys
ridiculous.
ask for down payment though? Is that like a common practice?
He does.
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I do. And he doesn't do orders. Like if someone says, "I want a date just," he'll just ignore them.
I'll
send
tell
them
him to Cole McCorsky.
Yeah, or
Really?
Yeah. Me, I'll say, "Yeah, all right." I find it. I send them pictures, and then I'll take a deposit. But never that much. I usually it's $500 or $1,000 typically.
Small. Okay. Just
Yeah,
like
I have a
something
small
down.
deposit just so they're not like they don't change their mind because their wife said no.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I would assume a lot of wives get involved.
A lot of wives
Yeah.
get involved after the fact.
Wives
That
ruin deals,
package
huh?
shows up, and you know something? I have never stuck a guy. I always take the
Yeah,
watch back.
I've done the
I
same
told
thing.
him the same. I was like, guy tells you that the dog ate his watch. The dog ate his check. He can't make rent. Take the watch back. Send him a label. Pay for shipping
Pay for
back.
the shipping.
Let him have a good experience.
Wow.
And you know what? You eat the shipping. It's a write off no matter what. We spend ridiculous amounts of money on shipping every year for an extra label. So what?
Yeah.
Right.
Get it back. Let the guy feel good about it. Send him his money the minute you get the watch. And you know what? Not that they come back, but it's such a small world out there with social media. Everybody knows you. And every once in a while, I'll get somebody, hey, I remember a long time ago, I needed this and you sold it to me for a really good price when nobody else would and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, that's good. It just builds good mojo, and you can't manifest that if you don't do the right thing by people. You can't just break it out of a box. You can't buy it. You have to do it.
So even if somebody sends you money, you send them a watch, and they say never mind, you'll send money back.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
say,
definitely.
Really,
Definitely.
Have you ever had it where they send the watch back and something's off?
Oh, definitely.
And now what do you do?
Oh my God. I send them the money back anyway. And then I contact 5 people that control the world. And I say, this guy is an idiot, and banish him into the cornfield.
Okay.
But-
So let's not be that guy.
Okay. Happened.
Yeah, give an example, please.
Give you an example. Very expensive watch.
How expensive?
Back, it was like, 2011. I remember the watch. It was a really expensive watch. It was like maybe 25 grand.
Okay.
And this guy busted my balls to sell him the watch. When I sold the guy the watch, I knew the guy was a pain in the ass. I just kind of got that vibe from him. And I check the watch out. I pressure test it, meaning that I know it's waterproof. And I say to him, listen, watch is pressure tested, gets the watch. He gets the watch. And Rolex has this very specific function back here. This is the case back. And this is a very, very sensitive area. And it has to be opened with a Rolex tool. And you have to know how to do it. So guy calls me back. He's like, oh, wow, case back's not going on right. I was like, excuse me? I just tightened it up. I buttoned it up with a Rolex certified machine, right here. I did it myself. So I know, oh, no. There's something wrong with the case back. And this is a big deal on this watch. It was a 1958 watch, 59 watch. You can't just find those parts anywhere. So what happens is they strip the case back. So I'm like, send me the watch back. Let me see what's going on. Get the watch back. Freaking case back is completely jacked. So I know exactly how he did it. He used a handheld tool in a vise instead of using the right tool. He did it haphazardly. He didn't do it right. You have to know how to, you have to exert equal pressure all the way around in order to twist it. If you push down too hard, you're going to strip that case back.
So what was he trying to do?
He's trying to open the case back
Why?
to look at the date code or something on the inside after I sent him pictures of the thing. He was one of those guys.
Okay,
I gotta
okay,
make sure.
okay.
He wants
Yeah.
to show it to his friends or something.
Understood.
I hate guys like that. So we go back and forth over it. And I was just like, you know something? Here you go. Send him his money back. Got on my little chat group with 5 people. I was like, here's the guy. This is what happened. They're like, okay. Guy could never buy another watch from anybody who's a real dealer. I mean, for years.
Right.
And the guy popped up here and there on Facebook. This was before I was really like on Instagram. This was 2011. We were in Marlboro at the time. I remember in the basement because I know where I was when I tightened the case back on it. I sent the guy his money back. I had to send the watch over to friggin' Hong Kong to get somebody to do to rethread the case back.
Oh my
It was
God.
like $2,500 job. Okay. And I'm funny like that. You've got to disclose that when you're selling that to somebody, because if they think that you sold them a part that's been altered, it's a big deal. I wound up taking a loss on the watch. All right, not the first loss I took. But don't lie to me, okay? It's like, if you fucked up the watch, tell me you fucked up the watch. I'll tell you where to send it to get it fixed, okay? But don't say that I sent you a bad watch. And the guy was steadfast on that. Oh, no, I got it like this. I was like, no, you didn't.
Right.
Here's the pictures I sent you. Case back was flush, okay? Came back, the thing was like up on one side. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. I had to snap it off with a knife. It wouldn't even unscrew. You know that's not good. So that's it. When people do stuff like that, we banish them to the cornfield. Your
Good.
dad would know what that means. I'm
sure he would.
It's a very, very...
His definition may be a little bit different than yours, but yeah.
Oh, no. He would know exactly where that's from and exactly what that means. Mention that to him.
Text him that right now because
Banish them to the
gonna forget.
cornfield.
I'm saying
He
what
will know
would you
where
mean by
that's
that?
from.
Yeah, ask him, Joe.
Yeah, he's that generation.
Yeah.
But it's like, I still gave him his money back, and I said, you know what? This guy's going to pop up somewhere, and they are going to understand that you got to be really careful with this guy because he's a liar.
Now he did pop up eventually. You said.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How'd that feel?
At
You hate
that
to say it
point,
felt good.
I didn't really give a shit at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? The guy's such a, I don't know. The guy was just not a good guy.
Right.
At the end of the day. And again, rich guy. You know what I mean? One of these guys that, it's like, okay, I'm over here slinging tin. And it's like, don't come at me with some nonsense. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing over here.
I like that,
I didn't
slinging tin.
yeah, I'm slinging tin. And you're not gonna, if I make a mistake, I'll tell you I made a mistake. But if you make a mistake, own it. You fucked up the watch.
Is there a process you go through? Like, let's say I'm looking for like a 6-figure watch. Are you checking my bank statements or anything like that? No. You're just assume I got the money.
If I'm doing a collection for somebody, and I do this for very few people, people are always like, oh, I want to make an investment. What's a good watch to invest in? I'm like, invest in Apple stock. Don't invest in watches if you're going to buy one watch. You want to put together a collection. Okay. I can help you. It starts with 500,000 and I got to get paid up front. And I will put together a collection for you.
Yeah.
And I promise you that collection will appreciate tenfold in a couple of years.
But you have a
Because
base minimum of a lot of money.
Oh, I've made people lots of money. I put together collections that are worth millions today. And I still do. And I deal with very few people. I deal with people that they'll send me the money. They're like, John, I want to buy something. Send me the money. And, I'll be very fair with them price-wise. But it's more an ego thing to put them into something really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I've got guys that want specific like periods. Like some guys like the 60s, other guys like modern stuff. When guys have modern collections, I'm like, you gotta diversify. You gotta have vintage. When guys have vintage, it's like, well, you gotta have a couple of modern things over here. And I put together very, very good collections for people and they're very happy.
Yeah.
And they will appreciate over time. And I always tell them, you got to hold it 5 to 10 years. If you're going to buy this thing and you're going to need money in a year and a half, don't send me money. Don't do it. You've got to be able to hold it. And I will always ask them that. It's like, are you in a position, to hold this stuff? Because if you're not, don't do it.
Sure. Have you put collections together yet?
No.
What's been like the biggest dollar amount somebody has come at you with to look for like a watch?
90.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
You obviously, you'll go to him first or you go right to the watch?
Sometimes right to the watch.
Really? So 90 grand, where are you going?
I didn't use all 90 grand.
You didn't?
No.
So you went and said, hey, I got you something better for
Yes,
us.
I sold them. I forgot what I sold. I sold like a Daytona for like 55.
Really?
Yeah, like a rose gold Daytona, I believe it was.
Why did you go so much lower than what he was looking for?
I don't know.
And he was cool with it?
Yeah.
If I had 100 grand right now, where are you going?
Asking him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was probably like a year and a half ago.
Okay. If I had 100 grand right now, I went to you, are you giving me 2 watches or are you going with one big boy?
I would try to give you 5 watches.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would try to give you 5,
Why is
maybe
that?
6. Because you'll take a bigger loss on one watch than if you're new to this. You don't know what you like, and you're
Right.
just buying it as an investment. You got to be diverse. You've got to have a broad collection. You can't just go out there and buy a $100,000 watch because that price can go down to 50 in a minute. It could happen.
Right.
And I've seen it happen. So you want to buy stuff that's, that stands the test of time, that is always going to be worth something. So if the market tanks and we're trading, ammo for cans of beans, okay, and you're wearing a watch, it's like you're not going to feel so bad.
No.
I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I've seen the market go from, I've been through 3 major downturns where I've seen zillionaires go under. And they always go under because they're overextended and they try to flex too hard. And it happens.
Because I asked Vookum, like, he doesn't wear watches. I know you have a Rolex on right now. Do you wear expensive pieces?
I usually don't. I brought this with me.
What do you have on right now?
A Daytona. I've had this for a while. I've had this
Can you show the camera what you have on?
I've had this for a long time.
Now, what is that? Give us like the
Just a very, very solid investment type watch. It's always worth the money. You can never buy them from a store. You have to always buy them on the secondary market. They're always double and triple retail. I just like this watch. I mean, it's beat up, but I love it. And I normally wear an Apple Watch, but I was in the city today, and sometimes I'll bring this in the event that I want to trade up for something, or if I see something that I like. I don't know, but I always wind up coming back with it.
You know what I think is so interesting? I mean, and kudos to you guys, or you for instilling this in them, is your attention to detail and the lengths you'll go to conserve or preserve your reputation. Like the fact that you said, this guy sent you back a faulty back, you sent it to Korea, got it back, you lost money, but this was all, and it's not even about the money, it's more like the time you took. Like you went and had to send it back and forth. I don't think I would have that skill to just care that much about that sort of stuff. Like, do you think you have that?
To sit there and do it to preserve my reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would never deal with the guy again.
Oh, right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I was more upset that he destroyed a really, really nice watch.
Oh, I'm
This
sure.
this watch today is probably like $100,000.
Really?
Yeah. And I fixed it. I had it fixed. When I sold it, I told the guy, listen, we had to send it over there. This is what happened. This is what you're buying. The guy was like, great, no problem. And it's just, it was a nice watch. It was a super nice watch then. And it's even a more expensive watch now. And, the guy just didn't respect it.
Yeah.
He did not respect it. And he thought that, number one, not that I don't like, it's like if you're doing business with me and then you're going to check me, it's like, why are you doing business with me?
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm telling you what it is. You're buying it off me and you know that I'm going to stand behind it. It's like, you're checking me.
Yeah.
It's like, really? It's like, okay, fine. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm a little wrong for not liking it because I check everybody. But it was like, this guy came to me. He knew what the watch was. He knew that it was special. And he couldn't find it anywhere. I was the only one that had it.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? I sent you pictures of all this stuff. What do you think I'm going to do? Switch a case back on you? I mean, what are you,
Right.
nuts?
And I think you get so, not offended, but like you've worked so hard to build that reputation.
Yeah.
That for this guy to think that you would go and slight him is like,
It's like,
ridiculous.
what are you doing? Opening
Right.
up the case back when you don't know what you're doing.
That's disrespect to you now.
It disrespected the watch.
Yeah.
You destroyed this watch. What if I told you, fuck you, you're out. You did it, it's yours.
And you could have.
And I could have.
Yeah.
And then it would have been a he said, she said, then it's like, oh, well, then he's going to have all these other knuckleheads over there that have
Yeah.
been burned in their lives by unscrupulous dealers say, oh, well, Buckley might have done it. It's like, you know what,
Yeah.
give me the fucking watch back. I'll give you your money back and take a fucking walk. See, I
Right.
get angry.
I don't. It's all right.
It's
He's
okay?
He's not here.
I can
You
just
can get angry, actually. Get
I get
angry.
angry?
Yeah,
Yes.
people like that.
Like that.
Well, let's transition into where we are, right? So obviously you've been on 47th for a long time. We're sitting in an abandoned bank right now. This is soon to be what?
The Vookum HQ?
Vookum HQ.
The Vookum store? I don't know. What is it going to be?
What are,
the fuck are we doing?
what are we doing here?
It's going to be the most expensive hangout.
I was gonna say we just hanging out here.
The most expensive and most secure hangout that you've ever been associated
We're locked
with.
down over here.
Oh, we're locked down
Yeah.
in this place, boy. Definitely locked down. But yeah, it's going to hopefully. Tyler wants to make it a store. I'm trying to talk him out of it.
So
I
okay.
talked him out of doing an exchange. So it's good.
Store's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Exchange
do you
won't happen.
Why do you want to do a store and why don't you?
You go first.
I want to make money. I want to sell. We need content.
Fair.
If we're not going to 47th Street anymore, where else are we gonna make content?
He doesn't want to deal with retail people. That's
He doesn't
his
want to
problem.
deal with people. Me and him will sit here and, well, not really him.
I don't want to deal with him
He'll
either.
do it if he
I want
has
to film content, but I don't want to do retail. But if I have to, I will. I'm not gonna
I don't
say
want
no.
to sit here and deal with people either. I want to make money from sitting in my bed.
Right.
But you have to build something.
So what would your plan be with something like this? Like build up the storefront and then hire
Build
other
up a
people to-
storefront, cameras running 24/7 or whenever the store's open. Editors on staff, camera guys on staff. Something else I'll tell you off camera that I don't want anybody getting ideas from.
like that.
And just, multiple times a day just posting because we're always going to have a new character coming in here. Some random person coming in off the street.
So you're thinking of this more of like from the contents. I mean, this would be.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking sit here and sell watches without filming it.
But this would be a great. It's almost like just live streaming your entire life. Like if we just had cocktails rotation, and my
Truman
dad's
Show.
making 30
Yep.
cocktails a day.
Exactly.
How could you not go viral? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And you got. I mean, the flow of traffic in this place is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Because they're watching online, and now they're like, oh, I got to be a part of that. Now they want to be a part of this, the spectacle.
Exactly.
Hello, everybody. Quick reminder: Johnny Drink's Cocktail Smoking Kit is still on sale and available, but not for long. I think there's about 20, maybe 30 of these left. So if you want to grab one, hit that link in our description. But for now, enjoy the rest of this episode.
It's operating agreement.
Yeah,
Thank you.
crazy,
the operating
crazy.
agreement
Operating
is
agreement.
such that we're going to wind up agreeing no matter what. We always agree. Even if we're not crazy about the other person's idea,
Still agree.
we're
You
going
have
to
to
agree
agree.
on it.
Really?
And
Yeah.
it's not even that we have to. It's that
We just will anyway.
we're going to. Because, look, I
better or for
love it.
worse.
It's great, okay? It's a fantastic thing. But I could think of it, I've been doing this a long time, and I know the pitfalls, okay? And those pitfalls are serious pitfalls.
Sure.
Some of them are monetary. Some of them are other things.
Yeah.
And he'll find out. They have to learn. They're going to have to learn this one.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to have the backup plan either way.
And this
I
is
always
just going to
do.
drive you to do
Oh, he's going to do it.
this and make sure it works.
It's going to work.
I like it. And I think, but that's like the mindset you need to have. And that's what you have. It's just like,
Yeah.
you could be selling shoes out of the spot and you're going to make it work regardless. And I like
Yeah.
the unanimous decision thing because I think that's important for just creativity.
Yeah. It's important for a happy business,
Right.
or an unhappy business.
Sure. Well, let me ask you, I guess all three of you guys, if you had a couple pieces of advice for somebody, like we said, getting into it right now, what would that be?
Getting into what? Like
Into the watch selling business.
in the watch. Run.
Run.
Stay far away. Stay far away.
We asked the wrong guy first.
That's my son.
No, it's the right answer. That's
my
Do we
son.
all agree, or is
Run.
What are you guys gonna say? Of
wouldn't-
course,
yeah, I
run.
wouldn't
Get
get
away.
involved.
Stay far away. Save yourself.
Listen,
Sell insurance.
Do real estate. Anything.
Oh,
other
real
than
estate
this.
would be
real
pretty
estate's
cool.
great.
This isn't fun. That's what the one thing people
Actually,
have to
real
understand.
estate's
It's not
not
like
that
a
great for
fun
me.
real estate
business.
sucks.
Yeah.
Please, collecting rent is fun. Going out and finding
Is it,
property
though?
is a pain. in the- No, it's not.
You
You,
always-
you
you always
see it. I'm
complain.
always complaining.
These are the answers that I did not expect from
These
you
are
guys.
the. This is the truth, though. These are the
It's
answers.
the truth.
Yeah,
I want the
everybody
truth.
else will sit there and go,
Oh, this is such a great
it's
business.
my wait, here. It's my dream, boy. It's
my passion.
It's not work. It's like I'm not even working. I enjoy
It's
my life.
passive
So it's
income.
No,
passive.
this is
No,
a
it's not
fucking
passive
grind
income.
every
everybody's
day.
there. Passive income.
Passive income. That's because you're not doing it at a high level.
This is funny. So why do you guys keep doing it?
Because it makes money.
Because we can't sing or dance. Look at us.
refer
Look
back
at
to the
him.
first
Wait,
time.
wait, look at him.
If you compare a picture of me from when I was 20 to now, you'd be like,
Wait.
holy shit, what happened?
I'm like
to
the
this kid?
only one
Really?
that's like unchanged in the
'Cause
last
he's got
5
no
years.
stress
Like,
in his life.
age. Well, maybe a little bit,
Okay,
but
John.
not like you.
You've seen Platoon, the movie Platoon.
No.
Oh, here we go.
Jesus Christ. Call your dad, okay?
Should I call him right
And
now?
say- okay, call him up right now and say, does he remember Charlie Sheen when he got off the helicopter in Vietnam? And then the last scene. That was him 3 years ago when he got off the plane in Vietnam. And the last scene is now where he's like this. If you Google
ravaged.
it, you can
Platoon?
you'll
Yeah,
see it.
let me
Platoon.
Google it.
Charlie
Battle
Sheen
ravaged.
before and after.
Scarred.
Oh, scarred
up.
I think I've seen this picture before because it's pretty.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's like this when he comes up. Just like him, like he was on 47. He was like this.
What do we got?
Wait, keep going. No, you need before.
The before and after comparison picture.
Those are the after pictures. The one with the makeup on.
This is
Charlie
hilarious.
Sheen platoon before.
Google's not helping us out today.
Wait a minute.
The dog? Yeah. He's not there. Where is he? I don't know where the fuck he went. I best start talking to him, make him come over to the camera.
God.
I don't know.
I'm going to find. Oh, there it is right there.
This one?
Nope, down below. That's it.
Yo, Tank.
So this is when he started.
That's when he started.
Tank.
And then this is him.
Go back. No, wait.
Tank. I think he's sleeping.
Oh.
Where is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna move the camera. His face is gonna be right in.
Wait, go back. There it is.
And then that's him now 3 years later.
Was it? Yeah.
Grueling business. Well, you guys look like you're having fun. So maybe that's
yeah.
just my perspective.
Bro, where is my dog?
Oh, yeah.
Let's find your dog before we...
I don't know where it is, so I'm just gonna keep doing the podcast.
Yeah, we'll find him eventually. Okay, again, not the answer I expected, but totally respect your
What did you
answer.
expect?
I expected something about like you're gonna. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I would have expected you guys to give like it's gonna be a long road and stay truthful to yourself.
No.
and
Not at all.
this okay.
We're not those types of people.
We are in this for money.
Fair. You know what? I respect that so much because so many people avoid saying the honest truth sometimes. You're in business to make money.
Oh, no. We are in business to make copious amounts of money.
Copious amounts of money.
Ridiculous amounts of money. And then parachute out with a huge exit on the brand. And then we never have to talk to each other
And then
for
we
a long
buy
time.
what?
Only
Yachts?
Christmas Eve we'll hook up.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve we'll see each
We
other.
never talk to each other.
And we'll never
again.
talk to each other
That's great.
That'll be it.
Sounds
We're,
pretty good
we're
to me.
buying jets and boats and
No,
all
no
that
jets
fun
and
stuff.
boats.
No.
I'm going to go out and buy another $25 pair of sweatpants
Maybe a small
from Walmart.
boat.
Fair enough. Maybe a
I'll
small
get a
boat.
house.
I always wanted to get a boat.
I don't like
Maybe a nice
boats.
car, but other than
I like
that,
boats.
That's about it.
Hate boats.
He hates them. I love.
Hate them.
I don't like
I
boats
got
either.
sick on a cruise ship actually.
I can't stand cruise ships.
No, I had food poisoning, not from the motion in the ocean.
I had norovirus.
Oh, really?
When I was like 9.
Wow.
I had bad shrimp.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
It was bad, dude. Like I thought I was bleeding when I was throwing up because it was red. It probably was blood.
I was gonna say, what else would it be?
It was blood.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
want to tell anybody.
I guess that's it for the podcast here, guys. We were talking about throw up and other things, but no, this was great. Thank you so much for.
Thank you for having
Oh,
Thanks for
I
having
have to
us.
ask you one last question. So I asked these two the first time.
Okay.
I asked him in this journey, and throughout your entire life, what has been your most humbling experience? And let's follow that up with what has been your greatest experience. And this can be anything; doesn't have to be business related.
Humbling experience?
Yeah, your lowest of your lows.
God. Let's see. Greatest experience? Let's go with greatest.
Good.
I don't know, waking up every day and getting to, fight with these guys and do this at 60 years old. It's just, you can't think of anything better than that, when you're 30 or 40 or 50. And the most humbling experience is just waking up knowing that you just got absolutely reamed out and you made a terrible mistake and it was your fault because you did not do your due diligence. And you're just sitting there saying like, what an idiot I am.
Right.
And I could think of many different instances of that. But I mean, we spoke about one.
Yeah.
And that was a good one. But I'm sure there are more if I keep thinking, if I go back.
Sure.
If I were paying you $350 an hour like I pay my shrink, I mean, we could sit here and discuss
We could
it.
talk for hours. I don't care. I'm here. I'm here all day.
Listen, my shrink is good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good too.
And you seem, I can double
this drink.
Maybe we can do a little discount over here.
Why? How does that make you feel? How does that make you? How does that make you feel?
There
Yeah,
you
lay
go.
down. Take it out.
Wish it was a casting couch.
Oh, hey, listen, endless possibilities here in
Yeah.
the
No,
in the
Vookum
Vookum
actually.
Bank.
Listen,
Quite
In the
literally.
Vookum Bank.
We have nothing but possibilities.
That's it. Well, it is fun watching this because it's a different perspective than what I'm probably living, and it helps me appreciate what we have because this is really cool. And like you said, you're 60, able to work with your son and his best friend. It's you can't beat that.
beat it.
Thank you so much for coming on the Johnny Jokes podcast or the On the Rocks podcast, whatever we're gonna name this thing. That's it for today, people. Leave a comment, like, share, all that good stuff. Cheers.